Oh, I did not have. I'm so bad at this. That's the wrong one. There we go. Can you hear me okay, Lissane?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I'm so bad. I had the human music playing and not going out over the Twitch during the loading screen. So it was just a little private jam for me.
Yeah, well, you gotta jam out.
Just that human music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think I got everything good. I just sent out the tweet. I mentioned in Discord that we're live. I think I did everything. How stressful is it? The first five or the last 5 to 10 minutes before you go live, right?
Literally every single morning I'm like, I am prepared. I have everything ready. And then with like 30 seconds left, I'm like, I forgot this. I don't have Streamlabs open. Ankbot's not going. My OBS is broken. Everything's wrong. I have the wrong game. It just goes to shit pretty much every time. And then everyone points out everything I did wrong. And I'm like, whatever. Whatever.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Rock and fucking rage. Do you see what he just said?
The Proper Nerds emote was approved. Oh, hell yeah. It looks awesome.
Success. That
Proper
looks
Nerds
so
hype.
good.
That does look good.
It looks good on dark mode on Better TV Twitch, and I know it looks good on normal Twitch mode too. So,
That's
yes,
awesome.
rock and rage. So Lord Terran apparently is getting deported. I don't.
Okay. Right on.
I don't.
News
What,
to me.
I don't know. But let's deport him and build a wall and make him pay for it, I guess.
Yes, it's an interesting crowd we've gathered with the Proper Nerds.
So, you mentioned Ankbot. Like, how have you ever done that? You go live and you're like, okay, everything's all set up, and then you're like, why isn't Ankbot working? Oh, I didn't log back in the streamer and the bot account. And...
Yep. Yeah, or I'm like, guys, just do song requests, and then the song requests are turned off and nothing's working. That's when the least number of people are around to see you screw up, though, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think we both have usually at least like 2 or 3 people though who come by, you know, right away.
You being one of them.
I try. Sometimes
Yeah.
I show up like 5-10 minutes. I feel guilty when I show up 5-10 minutes late because then you're already into your game, and I'm like, oh, what I miss. Oh, fictional catch. Thank you. Don't forget, use hashtag cheer. Hashtag charity when you cheer. Thank you very much for the cheer, fictional cat. You get the big ups. Whoop whoop. Come on, give fictional cat. Yeah, there you go.
Whoop.
Just so everyone knows, whatever anyone cheers today, within reason and within my bit budget, I will be donating, or I will be cheering tomorrow on Lissane stream. Half of that amount. So,
Dog treats.
So you're getting extra value for your cheers tonight. So like, if I get 1,000 bits cheered, then 500 bits are coming Lissane's way, and
it literally
it will sort of have to cap out at 500 because that's about what I have.
That's fine. That's 10 dog treats. That's plenty.
I was watching so many ads, and you know what? I'll bet you'll never guess what ad I saw the most.
Was it Mr. Jackson, the rapping teacher?
How did you know?
Because he's just the best. He's, we call it the remainder because it's the number that remains.
Rap is a really great way to get through to students. I don't know.
Yeah, he's really connecting with the children and relating on a personal level by being hip and cool.
Hello, Zale. How's it going, buddy? Yeah, I just hate that ad so much. But
I hate it too.
You know what I found out? I could just reach over and just turn my speakers down for 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, totally. You know what I do? I mute the entire tab. Just mute it all.
But I actually like some of the ads. Like every time the ad comes on for the Kingsman, I'm like, yeah, I want to see that movie. Like my wife laughs at me because I'm so crazy susceptible to advertising. She's like, why are you doing this to yourself? I'm like, so I can feed Maggie treats.
Dog treats? Hello?
What do you mean?
I know. I wish it would let me watch ads, but it hasn't in months, and it makes me sad. And I'm pretty sure most of the ones I had got initially, I had thrown your way because you were the only person I was watching at the time on Twitch, and then now there's just none. So
if it makes you feel any better,
Yeah.
I went almost from the time they started doing bits until literally like a week ago. That every time I'd go watch ad, it would say none available. Try again another time.
Yeah, that's what mine does.
Yeah, and then I watched a couple, and then it did that again, and it just started offering them to me again. So
that's weird.
And I think we should point out that your curtain is wiggling behind you because you have doggos behind you. You got 2 doggos.
Yes. Yeah, my dogs are. They think it's for sleeping in and playing in, so it's not ghosts, it's dogs. I promise.
Yes. Oh, what if it was ghost dogs?
Well, that'd be way cooler, I think. I don't know, or way more terrifying.
Well,
yeah,
what
Maggie's
if they were like,
laying inside of the curtain?
Kona and Maggie's like doggy ancestors come to channel their inner beast, inner canine into them.
Only if it's gonna make them smarter, so they can take themselves out to the bathroom instead of me having to do it.
I think what we should do, by the way, is we should get this one question out of the way. We did have one question that was Rinks wanted me to ask. He goes, he said, make sure you ask the tough questions tonight. And then I forgot what it was, so. He asked it on your stream and not in chat. And,
I think you wanted to ask about me fat shaming my dog.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, he didn't put it in Discord. Yeah, so the fat shaming the dog. Hang on one second. I thought I heard a bit coming in. Darth Bax cheering 100 bits with hashtag charity. Thank you so much. Darth Bax, she says, cheer 100, hashtag Lissane, hashtag Palaver. Big ups. Whoop whoop. Although she did exclamation point charity, not hashtag charity, so that's okay. I still
20 cents taken from the children.
20 cents away from the children's. Them children's. You know, it's tough. It's tough to try to fix this. God damn it.
I know.
Yeah, so this whole fat doggo thing. Let's be honest.
Yes.
She is a giant cuddly walking Twinkie.
She is, and she used to be very skinny. She is part greyhound and was very, svelte and trim, and then just kind of got a little more sedentary, which is of course my fault. But we started calling her the Twinkie because she's, Twinkie colored and golden and round and kind of tubular. So it worked, and now everyone says, yeah. So now everyone says that I fat shame my dog, but they all do it too because they feed her. So,
well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's fat shaming to be like, oh, who's a pretty fat doggo? Who loves her mommy? Who's a fat little doggy that I love? That's
exactly.
Not fat shaming. That's like fat accepting, isn't it?
I mean, I think so. I think I appreciate her chubbiness and, embrace it and do what I can to, keep her healthy. But everyone else seems to appreciate it, so she's a cutie.
Yeah. I mean, all right. And then that, of course, leads us into the thing I really wanted to get in with you.
Yes.
So, everyone who's in chat, I already knows Lissane is an amazing streamer. She's someone I watch every weekday. And it actually has gotten to the point now where I'm like, I don't want to go, but I have to go so I can set up my stream and start.
I know.
Like today, I literally was like, it's 1:45. I think I hung out until about like 8 minutes to. I'm like really pushing like the limits of how much time I can do. But anyways, you wisely have chosen to have your doggo cam on your stream.
Yes.
And you make your doggo cam as big as your face.
Yep. Thanks to you. Literally, thanks to you.
Yeah, because it used to be much smaller, and then when I did your Diablo overlay, I'm like, no. Doggo cam equal to Lissane cam.
Yeah, everyone said it had to be the same size, and then there was no way I could go back at that point. So
just whatever you do, don't ever make it bigger than yours, because that'll just be a slippery slope. But here's what I wanted to get into. How much anxiety or worry or pressure do you feel like, I wonder how much people really are here just for the doggo?
Honestly, very little. But I don't know if it's just because even if someone was there just for her, that'd be totally fine with me because they're still there, But also, I don't overestimate the entertainment of a cute dog laying in the corner. You know what I mean? Like, she's cute and adorable, but at the same time, she's just sleeping. But there are people who have said that they've muted the stream and literally just had it open to look at her. So, you know, whatever brings people in and whatever makes people happy, I'm happy. So, no anxiety.
Yeah, Rocket Nerd says, okay, doggo only cam. I still think that's a thing. I think we're going to figure out a way to just have just Maggie on stream. You could just be sitting there watching Game of Thrones or whatever.
Oh my god.
Like off camera, just have the camera right on Maggie. And every time those bits come in, you know, maybe even wireless keyboard so you could just chat with people. And whenever those bits come in, you could just toss a treat from across the room. I'll bet you'd get at least 4 or 5 viewers.
I'm sure you're right. Just like if I'm not streaming, there's just like a nice static doggo cam sitting there. Feed the dog. If you can see the dog, you can feed the dog. I guess the only problem with that is there's a good chance she wouldn't sit still if I'm not sitting at the computer. Because that's one of the main reasons that she hangs out in the spot she does, because mom is sitting here and mom gives treats. So it could be less reliable.
I understand. When I'm not streaming, or I should say when I'm not talking to my computer,
yeah,
Camilla sits right there on the floor, like right near my feet. She likes to just be hanging out near me.
Yeah.
Of course, as soon as I start talking to my computer, she's out, because she knows I will pick her up and wave her in front of the camera.
Of course. Yeah, I saw the clip today of you singing with her in your hand, so, you know,
there were
she
2.
knows what's going to happen.
The funny thing is, she's like, Dad, put me down. So I put her down. She just stayed right there. Like, she didn't go anywhere.
Aww.
She's not
too offended.
Nah, she's fine.
Yeah.
Now, you want to talk about fat shaming. That little bitch is we skinny shame. We runt shame her. We call her
tiny.
She's like 6.5 pounds.
Yeah, that's like 10 pounds less than my parents' cat.
Yeah.
That's tiny.
Well, she was a rescue. She was a stray. And she was severely malnourished as a kitten, so she just never got big.
Yeah, that's what happens with cats like that. They just stay tiny. I think they're cuter that way, though.
Well, it's nice when she decides that she has to fall asleep, like, on my testicles. You know, like, if I'm laying on the couch and she comes in and she's like, this looks like a good spot to lay. Well, at least it's only 6 pounds and not 20 pounds.
Right, true. Yeah, you don't want a 20-pound cat on your balls.
No.
That would be very desirable.
No. And then on my wife, she likes to sleep right on my wife's chest. Like, she puts her face, like, right up in my wife's neck and just falls asleep like that. And just, my wife's like, I can't move or I'll disturb the cat.
Yeah, Maggie's not allowed to sleep with us because she's too big. She would take up half the bed. So.
Are you fat shaming her?
A little bit, yeah. Kona gets to sleep in the bed with me, but she spoons, so it's fine.
Well, and she's injured. She's your special needs doggo.
She kind of is, yeah, you're right. She gets special treatment.
Kitley is only 6.1 pounds. Good God, so Kitley's a little tiny kitty too. Aww. Yeah. And Lightling says he has a chihuahua on his bed.
Oh my gosh.
Jack in his own. Aww. And Excalife said to say hello. I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you're reading chat or not.
Yes, I have chat open. Ife is from our free company on the game. So I tried to pull in some people from there too. So
that's another thing I think we should talk about real quick. I unsubbed from Final Fantasy.
That's okay.
That's
understandable. You weren't playing it much.
Yeah. I love Final Fantasy. I think it is a great MMO. Like, no, don't get that wrong. I wasn't playing it enough, and I really wasn't digging into it. Like, I got up to, like, level 50.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's fun, and I was enjoying it, but I don't have an extra $15 a month to throw on a game that I'm only playing once a week at the most.
Well, yeah, and, you know, MMOs are hard to justify in your life when you're already short on time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I have my, like, hard and fast only one MMO rule. And Final Fantasy gets a lot of special exceptions with my time because of running the free company and everything. Like, I definitely give it more attention than I would if I if I wasn't doing that, there's a good chance I would play the game much less. But it's, you know, it's where all my friends are, so that's how it is.
Well, I think the other thing too is now that we have Igninox is a featured member of the Prepper Nerds, like there's people that Final Fantasy fans can go watch other than you. Yes. Like it was kind of one thing when like once or twice a week I would stream Final Fantasy, but now like Igninox does it every single day, and you do it probably 2 to 3 days a week. Yeah. I mean, roughly. So, you know, thank you very much, Kiss My Die, which is just a great name for the follow. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of Final Fantasy if we had 3 people doing it on the regular, for sure. Yeah. Especially since Nox is, I think, primarily Final Fantasy. I've been trying to do a little different stuff, so it wasn't super repetitive, but just stuff I wanted to do anyway, so.
Yeah.
Keep it interesting.
I mentioned to you today on your stream, I was thinking about doing South Park Stick of Truth, and I thought, you know what? Let's try to stick to just a few games and not like play all the games all at once, you know?
Yeah.
I can always do Stick of Truth like later in the week or even next month, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been enjoying doing too, is picking something and then doing it for like 3 days in a row and then switching it, because it gives me a chance to delve into that without destroying it too much, like Diablo, which is really easy to overdo.
Yeah. So I give Myris a lot of shit over Diablo 3, but it is a good game, but God, like how can anyone just play that game over? It's so repetitive.
It is, and what blows my mind is the people who can get up to like Paragon level 2000, you know, right around 500 or 600. I'm like, all right, I think I'm done for the season. I really, unless you are really excited about gearing up every single class on the game, there's not much else to do, really.
Yeah. To say, Matt. Yeah, I just feel like the other thing too is like, I played that game when it first came out, you know, and
yeah, me too. When it was garbagey.
Yeah. Oh, so bad.
Real mini auction house.
They made so many good changes to Diablo 3. But then after I played the one season where I played with you, where I first came back, I was like, oh yeah, they made a lot of good changes. This expansion is kind of cool. But it's all just the same. And then with this most recent thing, now it's like, now instead of just primals, there's ancient primal legendary. And you know next season there's going to be epic ancient primal legendary plus modes.
Yeah, and it's obviously targeted towards people who just love, like, they love the fact that they know what to expect and they go in mostly knowing what's going on, and they just get to start over every time, and they like to grind. And I do enjoy grinding games, but I have my limits as well, so it's more about playing it with people than it is about just playing the game.
I also feel like Diablo 3 is a little bit like less about a game and more about spreadsheet crunching, you know?
Oh, like, it is. Min-maxing to the extreme. Which is one of the things that's hard about streaming it, because people get they'll be like, why did you just put crit on that instead of, you know, attack speed? And I'm like, well, I don't know. It felt like the right thing to do. Do you think everything's going to be okay?
Like, yeah. Or when I was streaming it, I like researched the build for what I was doing, and I was like, okay, you know, I want to get this piece of armor with these stats on it, and then I'd get, you know, the piece of armor, and it would have this stat that I wanted, but not this one and not this one. So I'd reroll this one to match a stat that I needed, but then they're like, oh, well, how come you have, you know, attack speed? That's garbage. I'm like, well, it was either get rid of attack speed or lightning resist, so I chose to get rid of lightning resist in order to get... But people get so crazy about it when they stop by our stream. It's crazy.
It has a very intense Twitch community behind it, which can be good and bad, because people love to come talk about it, but they also love to ask you why you're doing it wrong. And a lot of the times you just have to explain, well, because I'm streaming it because I'm still progressing. If I was done progressing, I wouldn't be playing it anymore. There's no point. So,
well, I think those people that get to 2,000 plus points in a season, they will literally they will grind for 8 hours and not even like, yeah, that's just what I do. I come home from work and I start grinding Diablo. What's the problem? I don't know. Matt wants to talk about the Secret World Legends. Have you ever played the Secret World or Secret World Legends? All right.
No.
So I loved the Secret World, and the only reason I really didn't stick with it is I didn't have a community, and none of my friends were really playing it. Quite possibly the best MMO I've ever played, though.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. And you know, I mean, you know me. I've played pretty much every MMO. The story is, bar none, the best story in any MMO I've ever played, and that includes Star Wars: The Old Republic, which that was really the only things that Star Wars had going for it was its storylines.
Yeah.
Just
how old of an MMO is it?
I don't know, about 5-6 years, I think,
Okay.
maybe.
So
Well,
not super old.
but it was sort of failing. So they massively revamped the Secret World, and they relaunched it as Secret World Legends. And it's more like an action, a little more action-y, combat's a lot tighter, and they kind of took away a little bit of the MMO aspect and made it more like, well, this is a game you can play, and it's in a persistent world where you're going to run into other people, but you can really do everything by yourself. But obviously, if you choose to group up with other people, then you can do group content. But if you don't want to do that, then there's like single player version of it, which is
interesting.
Yeah. Darth Beck says slander. as you may guess by Darth Beck's name, she is a Sith. She is the Darthest of Becks.
Makes sense.
I'm sure she's about to tell me why I'm wrong about Star Wars, but
it's okay. She's also my fellow nerdy basic white girl, so
yes,
I'm okay with it.
Yes, you and Darth Beck, you are our token. Can I say basic white bitches?
I think so, yeah. I proudly would identify like that, for sure.
See, now, Beck's on the other hand, she says it's a constant struggle to avoid the basic white bitch instinct, so
I embrace it at this point. I have
to.
to.
What are you drinking there?
LaCroix. Yep.
Yeah, because it's too late to drink pumpkin spice lattes, right?
Yes, it is. And not too late for pumpkin beer, but it is a Monday, so, you know.
Yeah.
I gotta have some barriers. Plus, I have to wait for our Proper Nerds drinking night, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just have had no time to really try to set that up. And
it's okay.
Here's the other thing. I just got back from this past weekend, and I'm still feeling like the arthritis-iness, arthritis-y pain. And beer and alcohol are really bad for my gout.
Oh, so I can only imagine, yeah.
I kind of feel like I got to be careful about when I do it. And I was trying to think. And then at the end of the month, I have to go to Smoke Fest where I'm going to do nothing but drink beer and eat smoked meats. So I'm like, when do I fit in a drinking night,
Yeah. And I mean, we can always keep it a more chill thing where we all just hang out and have a beer. It doesn't have to necessarily be one of those, like, cheers for beers or whatever kind of things that we were originally planning on. Whatever works for everyone else, though,
Well, the other thing I was thinking, and so this is, I think, episode 47 or 48 of my Palaver, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I was thinking episode 50. We try to get as many proper nerds on Skype as possible, and we just do like a nice long 90-minute, maybe even 2-hour, maybe.
I'd be down.
Cast
that
where we
fun to me.
Just shoot the shit and drink.
Yep.
We have to
drink.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I do too. I definitely think that would be great.
The only thing is, though, is drinking on a Monday night is kind of rough, right?
Yeah, we could do a different night.
Yeah.
A more appropriate night where more people can probably participate, like a Friday or a Saturday.
I agree. Saturday might be interesting. I was thinking Friday, but as you know, I do the Team MZ podcast on Friday nights too, so I don't know.
Yeah. We'll just figure out whatever works for people.
Yeah, we really have to get going on that. Just one more responsibility! Yay!
It's so easy to be like, yes, this sounds great, and then you actually go around to planning it, and you're like, oh no, what have I done? That's how I felt about, we were talking about doing the book club, and then when I actually thought about it, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of extra work just to read a book,
Yeah. Yeah, and another idea that you've been throwing around, which I wholeheartedly support, is you've been talking about doing the Finer Things podcast with Lissane.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it, which would be nice because I have a dear close friend of me who is well versed in the art of podcasting on Twitch, of course.
Oh, really? Who's that?
Yeah, some guy, not important. Yeah, so you had mentioned that you'd be willing to help out with it if you could, obviously nothing too crazy, but I had always been inspired by The Office, had the Finer Things Club, and I was always like, I want that in real life. I want to have snooty friends who will, eat fancy food and talk about snooty things with me. And so we in my free company Discord from Final Fantasy, we made the Finer Things Club, and we've used that for that kind of thing. And then now we just added also a Finer Things Club channel into the Proper Nerds one, kind of in a little test stage. And
You mean
I
the
think
Proper Nerds Discord, which is now being
the
linked in
Proper
chat?
Nerds Discord. So now I kind of feel like the next step would be to take it to Twitch and do some kind of podcast. I just need to figure out what that would actually consist of, that would take up approximately an hour-ish, that kind of thing.
I mean, speaking from my personal experience, I found 1 hour to 90 minutes is that sweet. Like, no one stays for a full hour. I mean, some of the really good fans will be here right at the start of Rev's Palaver and also right at the end. But I've noticed right about the 45, 50-minute mark, people are like, all right, well, you're winding on. I got to go. See you later. And they, and when I've done longer form podcasts, if they know that it's going to be longer than an hour, it's about 45 minutes that they usually hang out for. So 90 minutes seems to be about what I would say is the maximum for a podcast, because you get a rotating audience, kind of.
Yes. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. And I know there's a lot of people I could pull from Proper Nerds or from my other Discord who would be willing to come on and just talk about exciting, fancy, basic shit with me. And I think that would be fun, because I mean, you've heard me before. You get me started on talking about craft beer and I will not stop. So I can do a lot of things. Yeah.
Oh, really? You weren't like 2 minutes late starting your stream today because you were in the Proper Nerds Discord talking to someone about whiskey? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
That might have happened.
Yeah.
And you had to scold me.
I was like, Lissane, you're late. And you're like, oh shit, I am.
I knew I was late. I was just so excited to talk about it.
And then I told Coyote, I'm like, hey, how about you go talk about it on her stream? And he's like, oh, good idea. And then he didn't.
No, we never brought it back up. We were talking about bourbon, and then it never came back up. That's why I love Proper Nerds.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
So, I was out of town this weekend, right? Like,
yes.
I know I was annoying people that I was gaming with, because I'd take my turn, and I would be focused, I'd be there, I'd be present, and then all of a sudden it wasn't my turn, and I was...
Oh.
And I kept saying, guys, I'm sorry, I know this is so rude, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I've been in that situation before. It's hard to explain to people, to be like, well, I kind of like run a community, and it's important to also be a part of it. But I was surprised that you were present as much as you were in both places at once.
Yeah.
That was good on you.
Well, the other thing too is people were asking me, "Oh, take pictures of the games you're playing." So I tried to, like, hey, look at this cool game I'm playing, and the one game had these awesome miniatures of like Cthulhu and these elder gods and monsters, and so I took a lot of pictures of that one because it just looked cool.
I think that was the one that got referred to as Battletoads on Discord.
I missed that one.
Yep.
I don't know how I missed it. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. If you want help with that, I would be more than happy to. So the first thing is, you've got great concept for the Finer Things podcast, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the thing you got to do is decide, okay, what will the format be exactly? Will it be me every week, no matter what, and then one other person?
Yeah.
Who might rotate? Do you want to try to find a specific co-host to always have on? Do you want to do like a 3-person format? You know, like there's a lot of ways you could do it.
Right, yeah. Just talking around to people and see who's interested and how often they would be interested. Because I do think it'd be nice to have more of a semi-permanent person so you could, you know, you're not always like, oh, is my guest going to show up? Because I know that that can be a really tough thing for you sometimes when people cancel or things come up. And obviously not everyone can always be in control of those situations, but it does happen. So.
Yeah. I mean, I've had... I'm going to say maybe, and again, this is episode, I don't know, either 47 or 48. I really should figure that out. In all of those, I've had maybe 4 people either not show up or show up late. Like, I think Dave was like my second or third guest, and he just didn't show up for the first 20 minutes of the cast. So it was me just talking to empty air for 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, good on you for still just talking to empty air, because that's got to be difficult when you don't have a game to play off of or something.
Well, it was so new. I mean, it was like my 3rd or 4th ever podcast, so I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. I didn't know, like, hey, I should tap one of my other friends and be like... But, yeah, so what I always do is I always tell people get on 15 minutes beforehand, because then if they don't get on until 5 minutes before, that still gives me enough time to set everything up and go live, like, in a rush, you know?
Yeah, I know you've had people rescue you a few times, so that's always good to have people around for that who are willing to just talk in front of people for an hour.
Well, the last time I had someone who just legitimately just didn't show up, like, I was like, okay, it's 1:45, and I haven't heard from this guy in like 2 or 3 days. He's not on Skype. He's not on Discord. He hasn't been online on Twitch for 3 days. I don't know what's going on with him. So he got back to me about 3 weeks later, and like he hadn't, like I was like, well, he must be dead. I literally thought, no, it wasn't that he died. It was that his mother died.
Oh, jeez.
Like
so
3 days.
Like, yeah, that's bad.
So that was fine. And then he made it up later. You know, he was on later. I won't say his name because you know, I don't know if he wants it out there. But he was just basically didn't have the emotional stability to go online for.
That's understandable. That's a huge deal, and that's why you never want to assume that someone is doing it out of spite or negligence. You always want to make sure you know the whole story before you make any assumptions.
And I talked to him. I have zero doubt that he was even saying it. So Panic Ida just followed me, and since she's one of your friends, do you want to do the honors?
Yeah.
Do the honors.
Yeah. Thank you for following Rhev, especially while he's live on air. And anyone who follows while he's live on air gets the big ups. So, whoop whoop. How did I do?
Thank you, Lissane. That was perfect. I stopped doing it for anyone who followed me while I'm live on air. It's people who follow me live on air who I know are in chat.
Yeah, no, that's a distinction you have to make. That's another thing we could go on about is this new Twitch onboarding, which has basically changed the following game, I would say. And I mean, I haven't been on Twitch very long, but I noticed the difference immediately when they changed it.
Well, I think we've got a couple people here who are new to streaming, or small streamers, or thinking about getting into streaming very soon. So, I don't know if I'm going to do it next week. Might be in 2 weeks. I got to check my schedule. I'm going to have Reduxa on, who just started streaming, and we're gonna talk about sort of the experience of a brand new streamer. But Darth Beck says, I don't know what that means. So let's just real quick. So Twitch, when you sign up for Twitch, one of the things you have to do is you have to pick a minimum of 3 games that you like. And then what they'll do is they'll onboard you onto people who have played those games recently. So Lissane plays a lot of Final Fantasy, Diablo 3, and now she's been playing Dragon Age Inquisition. So anyone who selects one of those 3 games, there's probably a pretty good chance that her name will pop up as one of the people that they will automatically follow. So I think the way it works is they have to pick from like a minimum of 5 games, and then it'll say you might like following these people. And then you have to pick some of those people. And when you pick those people, it automatically sets your brand new account to follow those people. Now, some people have got it wrong. Like I've been watching this guy called the Face Shifter. He's like in Spain. He's Spanish.
Okay.
Really entertaining guy, but he doesn't get it. I've tried to explain it to him. He's like, "Oh, these damn bots following me. They're bots. They're bots." I'm like, "No. It's on board." And I've tried to explain it to him. He doesn't get it. Like they're real people, and you should always be thankful for every follow you get because there might be.
Again, I at first, before I realized that the onboarding thing was happening, I thought it was bots too, and I thought I was getting these like crazy bot follows because I was playing a game like Diablo 3 that had a ton of viewers, but then I realized that it was not that, and I'm very glad that Rock and Rage clipped that. That's lovely.
Lissane does the big ups. Nice.
Hopefully,
nice.
It's not too cringy. Oh. But yeah, I thought it was bots at first too, and it was blowing my mind because I went from getting maybe 5 to 8 follows in 2 to 3 hours of streaming to 90 a couple times, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, and then figured it out. But it depends a lot on what you're watching and that, or what you're playing. Some games it's like a lot more onboarding than others, and some that's just nothing. So it's weird.
I did a test, and last week I played no PUBG, and then today I played PUBG for the first time in over a week, and there's so many people playing PUBG. For those of you who don't know, PUBG is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Everyone calls it PUBG. There are so many people playing. It's the #1 most played game on Steam. It beats out CSGO, beats out Dota, etc. That if you're streaming that, you don't get anyone onboarded onto you. Because if someone selects PUBG, there's literally thousands and thousands of streamers to choose from.
Yep.
But if you play Diablo 3, for example, there's probably only maybe 2 or 3 dozen people in the last month who have played it, or in the last week who have played it. So if someone selects Diablo 3, they're going to have a much higher chance of finding your stream than others. So you have to sort of balance, but then you also have to balance it with you want to play games that you enjoy.
Yeah, and that's definitely true also because you do, even those days you see those high numbers, like the one day where it was like 90 people, I'm not seeing any of those people coming in and chatting with me, even though they've followed me. None of those people are, at least, no one has ever mentioned like, oh, I found you through the onboarding or anything like that. It seems like even though you're getting those numbers, they don't really mean anything. So it feels good to get the numbers, but the viewers count so much more than the follower numbers. But we've said that so many times.
I think one day when I had like 70 something followers that day, I had 2 people who came in and that were like, new, like I'm new to Twitch, or like,
okay.
I had to remake my account because I forgot my old login because I forgot it, like I haven't used it in a year.
Yeah.
And I searched for this game and your name popped up, so I started watching you and you seem really cool. So like 2 out of 70 is not exactly great, but on the other hand, it's 2 people. Like
it is, yeah. And like I said, I mean, no one's ever directly said that to me, so it's possible I've gotten people from that kind of thing, but it's hard to tell, And numbers feel nice, but at the same time, you don't want to be one of those people that has 40,000 followers and 3 viewers at once, because you just know that that's all padding and it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. So well, it's not, I don't know.
They say if you have anywhere from 0.5% to 1% of your follower numbers actually as viewers, you're doing great, right?
Really?
So yeah, so if you have 100 followers and you have 1 person in chat actively watching, then you're doing great. If you have 1,000 people following and you have 10 people in chat, you're doing great.
That's interesting.
That would be 1%, obviously.
Yeah.
Now that being said, I've gone to certain like big streamers, and they'll have like 800,000 followers, and they'll have 13 people in chat, like same as what you and I have, and it's
it doesn't make a ton of sense, because with that many eyes on your channel, you would think that you would be getting more viewers at once. Even just by chance, like just lurkers, things like that. But it doesn't always happen. Twitch is a weird thing that you're always learning. You're always learning the mechanics. My curtain is going nuts behind me.
I know. I feel bad that the rest of the people can't see it because the way that the camera is sort of tight in on your face, they can't see the very bottom edge where I can see Kona and Maggie wrestling and such.
I don't know why they think it's a dog bed now, but they do. It's the doggy fun house.
Well, if they want to see cute doggos, they should watch twitch.tv/Lissane at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, weekdays. And they will get their very own doggo cam. Oh my god, who's calling me?
How unprofessional. I'm so offended.
I know.
And you can feed the dog too.
Yes! Yes, you can feed the dog.
I'm sure everyone knows that though.
And as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I will, for any cheers that I get, any bits that get cheered during this podcast, tomorrow on Lissane's stream, I will donate, or I will cheer her 50% of that amount. So if you cheer tonight, your cheer goes twice as far. Well, 1.5 times as far, I guess.
Yes.
Right. So we follow Lissane only for the dogs. Yeah, we did talk about that, about the stress of possibly followers only for dogs. And her attitude is, whatever.
I'm competing with my own pet. That's okay.
I mean, are you competing, though?
No. Maybe. I don't know. For attention. But I don't mind. When she gets attention, it makes me happy. Plus, they always say they'll, try to do things that set yourself apart from other people. And I feel like I haven't seen anyone else with dog cams. I'm sure they exist, but it's not super common. And it was, at first it was kind of a joke because I would just position my webcam so you could see the dog sleeping behind me on the floor when I had just my crappy webcam. And then when I upgraded it, I was like, well, I have 2 webcams now. I could actually make this happen. And it worked. Better than I expected.
If I could guarantee that Camilla would be sleeping on the guest bed over there, I would do it every day. And I wouldn't even care. I'd call it Cammy Cam, and people be like, you're stealing Lissane's idea. And I'd be like, so what? Suck it.
No, I wouldn't even care. I'd be hype if other people started doing the same thing because then I get to go see other people's animals. You know, that's everyone's winning in that situation. So it'd be cool.
But the problem is Camilla never, when Camilla's asleep, it's just a puddle of fur. Cats are 99.99% liquid. So she just sort of settles into whatever crevice the blankets have made and just and then flattens out to fill that space. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then it's just a pile of fur.
That's kind of how it is with Kona as well, because she's black and black dogs just don't show up as well. It's just the sad truth. They don't show up good in pictures or on camera. They just kind of turn into a black blob. So anytime she's on the camera, it's just not as cute as Maggie. And Maggie's just, everyone likes to see Maggie because she's really cute when she sleeps.
Something dog racist something?
Yeah, something like that. Wouldn't be the first time I've been called a dog racist. Actually, last time I was at the vet with one of my dogs, totally random and stupid story, but one of the techs came out and was like, oh, I need the new patient bag with the treats for this new cat in the room. And they were like, oh, the cats don't get a treat bag, that's only dogs. And I looked at them all and put on my best serious face and I was like, you guys are cat racist. And all the techs looked at me, all the vet techs looked at me like, I don't know if she's serious or not. And the one laughed really nervously and I'm like, I'm just fucking with you, it's okay. And then everyone laughed, but
they had to sort of get permission to laugh first. They're like, uh-oh, did we offend?
Yeah. As I'm standing there with my 2 dogs,
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah. Don't give big ups to that person's name, by the way. Just follow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta let them go. Sometimes you gotta let them go. Oh. Yeah. That actually reminds me of another thing. So going back to the whole doggo thing, where people come and tune into your stream, One thing that I know that some of the female streamers on Twitch have said is that sometimes they get the trolls. Like,
Yeah.
do you ever open... Like, you had that guy in chat who so
Do
eloquently
you open
asked,
boobs?
do you open boobs?
That was my favorite one yet.
Was that better than I like white girl feet?
I don't know, because I like White Girl Feet hung out for a while and actually talked to people, but we didn't really give a chance to the other guy. I'm almost disappointed that we didn't let him say more things. But yeah, I've definitely, people have learned some new vocabulary from some of my trolls, so
I thought about it, and I was literally hovering over the timeout button, and you looked and you went, mods, and I was like, click. There you go.
Yeah. Most of the time, I just as soon nip that in the butt. I've said, "Do you what?" Someone had come in and who clearly English was not their first language and said, "Do you open boobs?" So, however you want to interpret that, that was what they said, and now it's become somewhat of a catchphrase for us.
So good, you know. And then the funny thing is, I couldn't stop thinking about it later. I'm like, I understand that English wasn't his first language. And he even phrased it differently the first time. He said, like, something it was really weird. It was like, do you ever because with open boobies or something. Like, It was really weird. And then he said it a second time as, do you open boobs?
He must have been sitting there with, like, Google Translate, like, I have to ask this question.
Yeah. And all I could think was, like, after I banned him later, I'm like, I can't stop thinking about open heart surgery now. Like, I literally can't stop thinking about, like, do you ever crack open a person's rib cage? Like,
yeah. I didn't have the blue-footed boobies picture ready for that situation either. Otherwise, I would have whipped it out.
Yes, he clearly wanted a boob cam.
Oh, yes, clearly.
I have a boob cam every day.
Yeah. If you come into Rhev's stream and request boobies, too, he's got the picture ready to go.
So, I actually meant me, like I'm an idiot, like I'm a boob.
Oh, well, I get that now, yeah.
Okay. Oh, my God. Holy shit, do you realize it's 8:47? Like,
wow.
Okay, all right, this is the thing I wanted to do. So, a lot of people are like, oh, Rhev, your overlays look so good. And I'm like,
oh, shit, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you know, I just play around. I used to use Photoshop. I just got this new program this month called Affinity Photo Editor that I'm still learning. But I'm just a hack. I say I'm not an artist. I'm not great at it. I just hack shit together, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are like, no, it looks so good. But I am so proud of you, and at the same time, a little bit jealous of how good your overlays have been. So let's go ahead. I've got them ready. So the first thing, this is your when you go AFK or before your stream starts. I feel like I should make that bigger. Is that big enough for everyone to see? So that's your starting soon, right? Overlay.
Well, I mean, I assume you have the correct one up.
Yeah, it is. Tell me about it. Like, just talk about how awesome this is for a second.
Yeah. I mean, well, I pulled up a Final Fantasy VII menu since I was doing mostly Final Fantasy, and you were my inspiration. Like, I think I told you that I saw your retro overlay that you whipped up for Final Fantasy XIV, and I wanted something similar, but I wasn't confident I could create that for a while. And then after playing around in GIMP, because I use GIMP for everything, 'cause it's free, after playing around with it a little more, I was like, okay, I think I could make like something retro looking because it's very simple. And so that was what I had come up with, and I just literally just like drew boxes and put gradients on, and then pulled up a Final Fantasy VII menu and used the elements as inspiration. I think the only thing that wasn't created from scratch on that was the pointer finger on most recent. That was it. Everything else I created from scratch.
And it's also worth noting that the doggo there, that's not a static image. That's actually the doggo cam. So if people tune in before you're, like when you go live, but before you actually start talking, they can still see Maggers.
Yep, so Maggie is always live while everyone's waiting for me or while I'm AFK. Sometimes they'll see me scurrying around a little bit in the background.
Sometimes I see your shadow more than anything else.
Yeah.
Who is it? Rinks is always like, I see Lissane! I think it's Rinks that usually points that out.
He's always waiting to see my feet.
Edith says, does it say level 99 dragon? I guess I have to make this a little bigger. Okay.
Jago.
Hang on. There we go. Wait, no, not that one. Hang on. Whoop. There we go. We'll make it a little bit bigger. There. We can't cover up Lissane, of course. But it says, Lissane level 28, Doggo level 99.
Yep.
Which, I feel like is just sort of pointing out that you're sort of making fun of the fact that people might be there to see her and not you.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
She is out-leveling me in all ways.
So, the next one, because you play Final Fantasy XIV on stream a fair bit, I think you did another, and it ties in with the last one. This is actually a game stream. Now, in this screenshot, you're not playing Final Fantasy. It's just the background is Dragon Age, but I think that's fine. Yep. People can imagine that it's Final Fantasy in the background. So go ahead and tell people a little bit about that. Yeah,
well, this was just to go hand in hand with the other one, because I think I actually made this before I made the starting screen, but then I realized I wanted the starting screen to match it. So this is also just like retro Final Fantasy inspired. Nothing too crazy, but it's just got me and Maggie, and yeah, I don't know. And I just added in the little event sticker too, because I had finally, with the onboarding, had to turn off the noises for follows, because that was just too much of the noises popping up all the time, and it got to be too much. So that was like my most recent major change. But yeah, it's just supposed to match the other screen mostly.
I had to do the same thing too. I leave follower alerts on so it pops up on screen. Yeah. But the noise just got to be too much, especially when I was playing certain games where you'd get hit with followers a lot more. I was like, I can't just be having that noise going off every 4 minutes, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's too distracting sometimes, more so than like Twitch chat can already be a lot to keep up with, much less thanking everyone. So.
When I was playing PUBG today, I had like 12 people in chat, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like 9 or 10 of them were talking, and as I'm sitting there trying to line up sniper kills, I just see chat going by on my Ankbot, and I'm like, I'm not paying attention to this at the moment. I'm a terrible streamer.
No, you do that sometimes, and then people are like, hey, you missed what I said, and then you're trying to scroll up, and it can be really hard.
I love doing that to you, by the way.
Yeah, you do that. You do. Because I do miss stuff all the time.
I generally don't mind if you don't respond to something I said. And sometimes I'm not even talking to you. Sometimes I'm talking to other people in chat. So, I don't like it. And then the last one, since you've been playing Dragon Age Inquisition, not Origin. I think I misspoke when I said Origin. Inquisition is this one, which I need to point out. You need to fix this.
What is it the bottom right corner?
No, there's no 50 bits equal dog treat.
Oh. Yeah, I noticed that today. Like, I think you probably heard me, like, as I was streaming, someone said something about dog treat, and I was like, shit, I forgot to put that on. So I'm gonna have to throw that on. Like, I don't think I'm playing it tomorrow, but I'll have to throw it on tomorrow and fix it.
Quick question, why do you have the, if you look up where it says, like, followers and so on and so forth, it seems like there's weird spacing. Did you not want to space those evenly, or? I
think it more so just ended up being that it looked weird once I added in the names on OBS, because they look even without the names there, and then I didn't want it above the dragons, but that's probably another thing I'm gonna tweak, because you know, it's one of those things that's like, once you see it, then you're like, all right, now I want to change this.
And people should never be, if you do start making your own overlays, don't ever be afraid to tweak and change I mean, I've gone through so many overlays, and like, some people don't even realize that there's been a change from one day to the next day to the next day. Like, I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is not the same overlay as Monday. That was 5 overlays back, the one I was using last week.
Just like little things that you changed that you didn't realize you didn't like until you were in the middle of streaming, and you're like, oh, I could change that.
But I'm so proud of you that you're really getting in there with Gam. I mean, that... I'm gonna pull that Dragon Age one back up. Like, that looks so good. That looks so tight. And I love that. I
was really proud of it. I was like messing with it all weekend, and I was just like, oh, I figured out this looks really good on the well, I found like a font that was just dragons, and then I'm like, I'm putting dragons on the top and like vines on the side, and I was like, it's so elegant, and then blood splatters, and I don't know, I just kept going crazy with it, and I was really happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. I think it's great. And I love the other thing, too, that you said that this weekend when you were working on that overlay, you would just leave it on your computer and then you'd get an idea and you'd be like, oh, and you'd go over and mess with something and then... Like,
That's exactly what I was doing, too. I must have spent, like, hours with it open, just going back and doing one little thing at a time when I had the inspiration.
Reduxa would like to know where you got the vines for that overlay.
Literally went to Google Images and typed in Vine clip art transparent, and then I would take them and like fill them in with white and basically turn it into like my own image and rotate it and add shadows, whatever I needed to do. But I want to do more now. I'm addicted.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun with it. So.
You should try doing it on stream one day. You can literally just sit there for 4 hours and just work on one overlay, because you're spending a lot of time talking to chat and listening to music, because you can do song requests. It is a lot of fun.
It is.
I need to get back into doing it. I used to do like one creative stream a week.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I kind of just sort of...
Well, when there's games to be played, it's tough.
Yeah. Reduxa says, I've been making a lot of overlays. Just keep at it. So Reduxa goes, or Darthback said, I remember when he was always tweaking the Quiplash overlay. So that's how I started.
Oh, okay.
On Twitch, back in last November, that was when I first started going live on Twitch, but it was literally just for my friends. It was just so my friends could see Quiplash and we could play Quiplash together. It wasn't like I was streaming. But then all of a sudden I was getting random strangers coming in and being like, hey, can I play? And I'm like, sure. Yeah. And then in December, I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to actually start streaming. So I always say that I really started in December.
Yeah, when you actually started, like, trying to stream for other people.
Yeah. And now I stream for myself. Fuck other people.
Yeah, that's the best attitude to have. I mean, everyone else is lovely, but you have to put yourself ahead of everyone else and make sure you're having fun.
So let me ask you this. How often do you ever play video games not on stream now?
Maybe a couple hours in the evening, but if I do, it's only ever going to be Final Fantasy. More so on the weekends I will, but like anything other than Final Fantasy, I've pretty much resigned myself, like streaming is my other games time, you know? And then if there are no other games, then it's just Final Fantasy.
So with Final Fantasy, that makes sense, because as an MMO, you're still talking to people, you're still seeing a lot of chat and so on and so forth. But, oh my god, I can't play games off stream anymore. Like...
Yeah, it's hard.
I was playing on Sunday, I was playing Skyrim because I mentioned that I had to delete my Skyrim because it bugged out and blah, 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 blah. So I wanted to try to catch my character up to where that character was in a new game. But it was so tough. Like, I would play it for like 45 minutes and I'm like, oh my god, this feels like work to play and not have people to talk to.
Yeah, and I am definitely like a person who requires like that mental stimulation on the side too. Even if I'm playing like a single player game like that, I'll have like a podcast on that I'm listening to if I'm not talking to someone on voice chat or something. So Twitch is kind of great for that kind of thing.
I told my wife if she wanted to cancel Netflix, I'd be okay with it. Because... Yeah. Like, the only time I watch it is when we're eating dinner now. I used to watch Netflix all the time while I was doing stuff, playing video games or whatever. Never. Now Twitch it's just Twitch. And now with the proper nerds, it seems like there's always someone on, at least in the community streams, you know? Which is amazing. So there's always someone to watch.
It's a blessing and a curse.
It is. It is. I feel a little guilty that some people... So we talked about this just very briefly before we went live. And, you know, are you okay with going just a little over the hour mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mind.
I don't want to go too late, but we'll go a little over, but so many...
Totally fine.
Problem is, there's so many things I wanted to... And I even know that there's a couple things that I said, nope, not going to get to that tonight. Not going to get to that.
There's always future podcasts, especially if we do the chill one.
And there's always the Proper Nerds Discord to chat in. Am I right?
You are right.
Where was I going with this? Oh, I know. Right before we went live, we very briefly talked about how sometimes you feel guilty because someone will be in your stream and they'll hang out your entire stream and then they'll be like, hey, I'm going live. And you want to watch them and you want to hang out, but it's like, I really have to go do the laundry or I have to go go to the grocery store like before my wife gets
Yes.
home. Or,
Yeah.
um,
It's been really tough for me because like the afternoon was always when I would get all my stuff done. And so, yeah, when there's like, especially if I'm like having a lot of fun in your chat and everyone's being really talkative and we're all just like dicking around. And I think it happened last week. I looked and it was 3:45 and I was like, shit, where did this afternoon go? I did not get anything. Like literally today, even like after I finished streaming, I popped in there for a while. I was supposed to do laundry. I never got laundry done because I lost track of time.
you know,
It's easy.
if you're ever in that situation, I understand. Just
I know.
just mute the stream, minimize it. The temptation will go away. Go get your things done. Come back. It'll be fine.
But I do that a lot of the time too. It's just like those times where it's like it's so easy to not notice that it's been 2 hours and everyone's still hanging out.
I feel so bad though. Like so Rock and Rage and Lady Ravenwood, two of our featured Proper Nerd streamers. Like Rock and Rage will start his streams at 6 o'clock, but a lot of times I'm not done with wife time until about 7. So I come in and I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He's like, "Oh, Rhev, you missed it. I got second place." I'm like, "Oh, I missed it." And I feel bad.
Aww.
And then
I feel that way too.
I'll start
I wanna
watching.
hang out with everyone.
I know. And then I start watching Lady Ravenwood, and it's like she starts at 8, and then sometimes she's going a little late, and it's like 9:15. I'm like, okay, I gotta go take out the trash and take a shower and get ready for bed. I'm like, I'm just gonna lurk. I love you. Bye.
Yeah.
Like I want to, but you know. Reduxa, can you explain what it takes to be a featured streamer for the Proper Nerds? That's a great question, Reduxa. So we don't have like official rules, but basically what it is we want someone who's affiliated, just because otherwise, like we've actually had a lot of people ask about that, and we want to help everyone grow. We really do. We want everyone to try to do the best they can. If we can push viewers to them, push followers to them, then that's great. Even if that means they're not on our channels when we're streaming, that's fine. You know, like my theory is people will find what they like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would rather someone be watching a friend of mine or another Proper Nerd that they like than me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why we set up the community streams for those really small people who are just starting to build. So we kind of, like, as a general rule, we're looking for someone who's affiliated, who has a scheduled stream time that they try to get at least like 3 or 4 times a week, and they're active in the Proper Nerds Discord. That's pretty much, and then after that, it's just sort of a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
like Dave, who is no longer on our Discord, he was like, well, I want to be a featured streamer. And then the other moderators went and looked, and they're like, he streamed 4 times in the last month.
Yeah. And he wasn't affiliated, which is hard, so.
Yeah.
Affiliate, even though it's not hard to get affiliate, I think that makes, the fact that it's not super challenging to get it, makes it a good bar to sort of set, even though it's obviously not set in stone, just because it does show that that person has put some time and some effort and just some level of care into being dedicated, even when they may not have any kind of an audience built up or any kind of a following yet. It just shows that they have the desire for that kind of thing.
I think even, okay, so like with Dave's case, he never would have been affiliated. He was offered affiliate, but he didn't want to because he dual streamed. So in that kind of case, we could make an exception, but it was just that he didn't stream, and he never talked in Discord. So I tried to talk to him, and I tried to say, like, how about you start streaming a little more often, try to get in like 3 or 4 streams a week, and we'll look at it again in a week or 2. And like a week's nothing, you know what I mean?
No.
But he decided, instead of going, oh, all right, thanks for the feedback, I'm going to get on that, he was like, well, fuck you.
Well, not everyone handles rejection the same way, so that was unfortunate, honestly, because he seemed like a very nice guy. But
he's a very entertaining
I didn't know him
guy.
that well either, so
yeah. Lady Ravenwood is talking, so much PUBG. I played today for the first time in over a week, and I was so rusty. Have you
Yeah.
found that, like, if you don't play Diablo or Final Fantasy for...
Oh, yes. It's always like every time I come back to a game, I always say, all right, give me time to relearn and get my bearings, like, because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I spent like my first probably 2 or 3 hours in Dragon Age accidentally swinging because I kept forgetting that you swing your sword when you left click instead of right click, and I was just going around hitting NPCs in the face and murdering animals, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I just wasn't used to it.
I played a little bit of PUBG after Skyrim today, and the struggle was so real because in Skyrim it's like E is your action button, but in PUBG it's F, and it's just that little difference, like here to here, here to here.
Yep.
Yep.
It's muscle memory. It's a bitch. It'll screw you over every time.
It really can get you. So I think what we should do is we should probably wrap it. I do like to keep it right around an hour. But is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't bring up? Because I know, it's been, so, oh my God, do you realize, this is another thing. I know I talked to you about this, but it's been like 4 months since you were on my podcast the first time. Like,
I know, and that was like our first ever real conversation too. Was like on the podcast. So now it's kind of weird to think that like 4 months later we are good friends who have like part of this community that was like an idea between the two of us, and I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How quickly that happened.
It really is. Well, I say, okay, it seems weird. You're like, wow, it seems like just yesterday I was on your podcast.
Yeah.
It does and it doesn't, because, like, I feel like you and I bonded so quickly, and it sometimes you just meet someone and just instantly you can be friends with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I feel like, in a sense, I've known you forever. But then,
exactly.
So, like, when I think, like, oh yeah, that was, I think, the first time I ever actually talked to her outside of email or instant messenger.
It was, yeah. Basically, like 2 or 3 emails and a Skype message, maybe, and then we had an hour-long chat.
Yeah.
That was when I was a little baby streamer and was just terrified of everything still.
That's another thing. You're gonna be the queen of the proper nerd soon. I have no doubt you're gonna surpass me in followers really soon.
I don't know. I think it depends on what I play, honestly.
Well,
it was almost getting a little insane with Diablo 3.
You have shot up in numbers in the last, and don't forget, you took a month off, right? Like, you streamed for a month or two, and then you took a month off.
Yeah, it would have been impossible while I was traveling to stream.
Yeah. So it's amazing to me how quickly... I mean, well, it's not... I take the pick. That's not amazing. It's totally believable because you're fantastic and you're amazing and you're a ton of fun to watch. And, of course,
well, thank you.
There's also the Maggie.
Yeah, she helps a lot.
So,
I recognize that.
Who is a very itchy dog right now, apparently.
She is.
I can see her in the background. She is just scratching away. Poor Maggers.
Yes.
But yeah, I have no doubt that you're going to fly past me, and I couldn't be happier about it. I think you're amazing, and there's a reason why I tune in and watch. And I also feel guilty because a lot of times I have to do stuff in the morning during that 2 hours.
I'll never feel guilty. I understand that, of course. I do stuff all afternoon during your stream, so I don't mind at all.
But I'll be like, gotta go defunk. I'll be back in half an hour.
It's better for everyone that way.
No one wants to see me go live and just be a greasy, like, Dago, just...
But I mean, I truly, like, it makes me so happy that, like, we've been able to leverage it into this community of people and meet other cool people, like Rock and Rage and Lady Ravenwood and Nox now, and everyone who's in the community is just so amazing. Like, I've made so many new friends in such a short period of time that any success on anyone's part is a success for all of us. So,
and I just want to mention some of the other people too. I mean, they may not be the featured streamers, but people like Josh Kritz is I seen in chat, Jake aka Nerdesk.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Frobro, he I've seen him throw proper nerds up. I've seen him go live. Win by KO, who is just, dude. Oh, you have no idea. I wanted win by KO to be the first like featured streamer before I even knew you.
Really?
And, like, dude, I just twist his arm trying to get him into Discord, and he's just like, he just doesn't want to succeed. I'm like, dude, you've just spend like 15 minutes a day branching out and talking.
In there.
He's in finally. I'm like, just once a day, stop in and see who's in chat and just say hi and just. It's
fun.
just impossible.
It's fun to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I have a blast in there. I really do.
Yeah. So many of the non-featured streamers that are the proper nerds. I mean, the proper nerds are not just the featured streamers.
Right.
You know, it really is a community. AJ goes live once a week, roughly.
Yeah.
Sits there and sips his scotch and whispers in a husky voice.
Sultry whisper. It's more relaxing than my stream, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah. It's so it just, there's such a great community. And if I can be selfish for a moment, I love that when I'm like, I'm bored, who do I want to watch? I just go to the community streams and I'm like, let's see who's live.
It's awesome. I've done the same thing a few times. I usually end up lurking, but it's just a good resource to have.
Yeah. So for anyone who is a small streamer, new streamer, not only do we have the Proper Nerds community, which you can join, and it's a great way to get followers on Twitch or get viewers, but the Discord, join the Discord, chat, and I guarantee you your numbers will shoot up. It's a 100% guarantee. I've seen it.
Yep.
So, I'm sorry. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? I don't even remember.
I think we got to most of the things. I'm sure, like, in an hour, one of us will message the other and be like, shit, I meant to talk about that. But whatever.
But this is already almost on to one of my longest podcasts, so we are going to go ahead and wrap it up, and we're going to go ahead and host over into featured streamer Lady Ravenwood. So if you would, stick around when we drop a host bomb on her, show her some love, and hey, Christian. And I would really appreciate that. And thank you very much, Sabby, for the host. I'm sorry, I am just ending my stream. Oh my God, it's Sabby. Just a wonderful, wonderful, kind soul. But if you would please just go over and say hi to Lady Ravenwood when we drop the host on her. And so what we're going to do is, you know how this goes. You get the last word, and then we're going to say goodnight.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. I know there's so many people in chat right now who spend the mornings with me and spend time in the Discord. Just like, you all give me the warmest fuzzies. Like, I have so many good feelings about the Proper Nerds community, and I've said that so many times to Rhev. I'm just like, it just makes me so happy. So thank you all for making it the community that it is, because I really love it, and I never would have expected it to be a thing.
Yeah, good times. Yeah. All right, good night, everyone. Say good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Stay tuned for host, and drop that host bomb.